I just got
No,
to
you're all right. Get started.
Yeah, I think record.
One, two, three, hit.
Is it here?
Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. What's up, social media, Facebook world? We are coming to you live from Kingdom Life Outreach Center, and we are in a state of emergency as it relates to some of the things that's happening within our communities. The Washington, D.C. metropolitan region. We are at siege as it relates to the gun violence, the onslaught of the homicides and stuff that's just really plaguing our communities. And we have to start this conversation. We need some accountability, both from constituents, both from the powers that be, our elected officials, and our faith leaders, our community faith leaders. We need to really dive into this discussion as it relates to mental health. And we have some very fine, active members in the community that are actually doing the work, boots on the ground, and this is important. We can no longer sweep mental health under the rug. It cannot be a taboo discussion. This has to be something that we need to create a safe space in the community. There's just no getting around it. I was this week, matter of fact, with Dr. Ann. First, I'll let everybody introduce themselves. So I'm pass the mic.
Greetings. Thank you, Kenneth, and thank you, Kingdom Life Outreach. It's an honor to be here. I'm your girl. I'm Rhonda Hamilton. I'm my mother's keeper, and you know mental health matters. And I'm looking forward to today's discussion. And thank you for tuning in.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Overseer Dr. Ann Coles II. I bring you greetings from the Kingdom Life Outreach Center, where I serve as senior pastor.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Yolanda Lucas. I'm an assistant to the pastor. I've been looking forward to this meeting. So let's come together in our community and get this situation resolved.
And I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to create this dialogue. I'm going to make it very short and brief. This week was very heartbreaking because I had an individual that was in a mental disposition, was a member of a church who needed mental health support services, and because mental health is taboo, our faith institution, our churches, need to start getting not just spiritually sound, but we need to get holistically sound. And holistically sound meaning that we don't just concentrate on spiritual nourishment or spiritual teaching, but we concentrate on the mind, body, soul, and spirit. I need to emphasize this again. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. Just because a person, if you are a church member or even a church leader, it does not mean that you are scarred for life for seeking mental health support services. Jesus, a therapist, and if prescribed medication go hand in hand. We have got to stop being in denial about our mental health dispositions. And the conversation has to start from the church to the political establishment and our government. We need legislation that has a policy that supports and makes sure that there is continual services to help combat the issue as it relates to mental health. For the record, I have to say this as being a man of God and as a pastor. There is nothing wrong with you if you are a Christian and you need mental health support services.
Come on now, speak on it.
Because the truth be told, there are many people that are suffering in silence in our houses of worship that need mental health support services. Now you can think somebody's crazy, but it's crazy to know that you stand in the need of needing help mentally and not seeking out to get this support. So we need pastors, we need clergy, we need people to get sound, not only just spiritually, but we need people to get sound mentally. And mentally meaning I'm not saying that the pastor has to be the therapist or the psychiatrist or the psychologist. What I'm saying is that we need to equip ourselves. That means we need to form a collaboration. There should not be a disconnect between the church. The church has got to do more than just coming and assembling and praying. We've got to be the walking feet of Jesus.
Amen.
And the walking feet of Jesus includes mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so today, we're going to let our very fine panelists just really begin the icebreak on this topic. Mental health matters. Black mental health matters. Let's continue forward.
Thank you. Pastor, did you want to speak or would you like me to move forward?
I'll speak again that you have it.
Okay, no problem. There you go.
I stand in agreement with Pastor Kenneth. I am a firm believer, and I want you to understand, I'm using the word I am a firm believer that we have to take care of our physical body, our mental health, as well as our spiritual health. I grew up in church all my life, and one of the biggest things in certain denominations is they believe when people act certain ways that it's a demonic spirit. And I will give the church this much credit because it's just been the past decade that mental health is starting to be talked about in our community. And when I say our community, I mean the Black community. So as we evolved, we're learning, we need to learn the difference between if somebody is going through spiritual warfare or if it's a mental health issue. To me, I call Queen Corona is a very blessed time for the Christian community, for the Islam community, for the Jewish community, for any community, if you're in leadership position, that now a lot of the training programs are free to those who really want to help those that they come in contact with. A lot that go through seminary, they really don't teach us how to deal with mental health issues. So I'm asking you to, those who really want to do ministry, and understand ministry is not just standing behind the pulpit. Ministry is a universal word. And if we're going to meet the physical needs of the people, we as leaders of the church need to take this opportunity to fully get educated. But because of Queen Corona, and I call her Queen Corona because society, every time a hurricane comes and she's out of control, they always give it a female name. Okay? Because they say an unhappy woman can destroy. So that's why I call her Queen Corona. But I say take this time, if you go on social media, if you do Google, there are a lot of services that our Department of Health are offering for free to help us get an understanding of this mental health. Because it's real, y'all. People ain't always demon possessed. Mental health is real. We all deal with some type of mental health. I'm not going to go into specifics, but the key word, we all got some type of trauma. And we medicate our trauma in different ways. But understand, it really is a mental health issue. And we need, as the church, to realize that. And if we don't have the capability, I believe in community partners. I stay in my lane. The word talks about there's about one body with many parts. If you know what your part is and you work your part, that's how you get the functional body. So I'm challenging all our ministers, rabbis, priests, whatever field you in when it comes to religion, and I'm using that generically, I charge you, if you don't understand, to connect with somebody to educate you, because it's real. This trauma is really real. And in the past 6 months, our homicides have gone up in the DMV, and I deal with people outside of DMV, in New York, Ohio. I talk to people in Alabama, across the country. We deal in the United States. Homicides have gone up. Our suicides has gone up, especially in our younger generation. Okay, our children are going through something now because now they have to do school online, and it's very traumatizing. It's setting our children up for failure. And I can speak of that because I got a 16-year-old son that's having to deal with that. I work with the young people. I get the calls. I see how their education system. Again, that's bringing on trauma. Now, I want to bring to you Miss Rhonda Hamilton from my Mother's Keeper, who is my community partner, that they specialize in mental health. Because it's about helping those that we come in contact with.
Amen. Amen, Pastor. Boy, those some shoes to follow. Amen for this conversation, and amen for this timing. Guys, as Pastor Cole just mentioned, I am Rhonda Hamilton, the Executive Director of Am I Mother's Keeper. We do mental health advocacy because there are many in the community that are suffering and that need a voice. Let's talk today, Facebook. Let's talk today, Instagram. Let's talk today out there, YouTube. Let's talk. In the Black community, we are experiencing now more than ever a travesty as it relates to our affiliation, association, and admittance of the mental health that is going on in our communities. You heard Pastor mention that the suicide rates are up. We all know that the homicides, the gun violence, God bless our dear fallen angels, Mr. Davon McNeil and Mr. Dion Kay. Guys, regardless of what the circumstances are, we are living under siege. These guns have got to stop going off. Trauma is very real. You hear me often say that mental health matters. Well, let's talk about that on a community level. Let's talk about what the definition of mental health is in layman's terms. I had to make notes because there's so much to cover today and I don't want to leave anything out. This message is to our community members out there that are going through. I need you to understand that the stigma is real. I need you to understand that there are folks that are sitting in key positions, whether it be legislators, whether it be pastors, whether it be your parents, who may not have a full understanding of what mental health is and what it is that you may be experiencing. Today's message comes straight forward to you, because if you're dealing with something that you're ashamed to talk about, there's danger. I want you to understand that mental health is the level of psychological wellness. Well, what does that mean exactly? It means that a satisfactory level of functioning must be obtained in order for you to feel that your mental health is stable. Now let's talk about that. We're in a pandemic. Can we truthfully say that we're satisfactorily operating in a functional level of acceptance when the guns are consistently going off? Guys, there's trauma. And the remnants of trauma is PTSD, depression, anxiety. Guys, suicide is real. If you're going through something and you don't have someone around you that you can talk to that can relate to what you may be feeling, that may be making a mockery or telling you that you should feel some kind of way because you are going through, then shame on them. We've got to be able to have these kinds of conversations daily so that those of you in the community that need a voice, that need an advocate, know that we're out here. And let me tell you something, it's not very popular to be the daughter of schizophrenia. They didn't have those big fancy words around when I was a little girl coming up, so it was just crazy. Well, I want you to know today you're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. It takes a high level of intelligence to be able to recognize that regardless of what people think, regardless of what they say, you have to recognize that you need help. These guns are not going off magically. If we don't learn how to communicate effectively and control our anger, then we're not functioning at a satisfactory level. And when we're not functioning at a satisfactory level, our mental health is in danger. Well, let's talk about this stigma that everyone wants to act as if they don't know mental health exists. Let's talk about the church telling you to go home and pray. Yes, God is real, but so is trauma, so is danger, and we've got to get away from labeling things that we don't understand. Pastor said we have to know our lane. Well, let me tell you something about the mental health lane. When you don't deal with that depression, that anxiety, and that very real matter of hunger or not having a job, which we call social determinants of health. See, there are people in your community, there are people in your school systems, people at your job, people in your church that will allow you to believe that they know and that they're the experts. Well, if you are experiencing a less than satisfactory level of functioning, your mental health is at risk. Now let's talk about the difference of having an at-risk mental health and an actual mental illness. Mental illness are the disorders that affect your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. Depression is so dangerous because if you're not able to come out of a mood of feeling, thinking, and behaving in a less than satisfactory manner, then you're going to be most likely diagnosed with a mental illness. So while we have an opportunity to do something about our mental health, we can help to deter the onset of a schizophrenia, a bipolar, or any of the other illnesses that we are diagnosed with. And let's talk about being diagnosed with a mental illness. There's something called mental wellness. Mental wellness is simply the act of preventative, the act of speaking out, the act of knowing if you've got to take medicine, the act of knowing that support groups will be helpful. And let's face it, the majority of our families that are living in the District of Columbia that are of a poor community, that are living east of the river, that are predominantly black, this is something affecting us all. Guys, this pandemic that we're trying to navigate has us looking for money, has us looking for food, has us angry, has us locked in, and we were already a community of abuse. We've got to get proactive at taking on these community issues and then holding the legislators accountable. The stigma needs to stop. And I'll tell you one thing about this pandemic that should be opening the eyes for everyone, is it's cleaning the slate. Who cares how many years you've been sitting in the position you've been sitting in when our community members are going through? Who cares how long you've been standing in that pulpit when right outside your church we got families that are hungry sleeping in the street? Cut it out with all these messages that are not resonating or reaching the people that need them. And if you're a politician and you're popular for the wrong reasons, then it's time for you to wake up get out of the way so we can get our members some help. This pandemic has us all going through. They're figuring it out daily. You see it on the news. They're telling us that they're trying to figure out the school system, the learning process. Do you think our babies aren't being affected by all of this? We're adults and we can't deal with it. We got the police showing up to crime scenes, predicting where our members in the community that need the most help are, and showing up shooting first and then talking about it. They're shooting to kill our babies. Yes, Black Lives Matter. Black lives have always mattered, and Black lives will continue to matter. We have to stand up as the Black lives, take our power back, and start helping our community. Social media is the most powerful tool that we have right now. And I need everyone checking themselves. Look in the mirror at yourself. Ask yourself, what are you doing effectively to help our community members? We've got homeless populations across this city, and yet before the pandemic, we had a surplus in the budget. How in the world can we have a surplus in the budget when so many people are still going without? How are they talking about building a hospital east of that river that doesn't have enough mental health exposure, trauma exposure? Stop accepting what they're telling you. Stop feeling powerless. And stop going along with the popular when you see what's happening in front of you. We got members sitting on playgrounds masturbating in the middle of the day while our children are playing sports. We don't need police to help us to recognize that our community needs help. We got women sitting on the curb, butt naked, middle of the day, and the police riding by, turning their head, looking the other way. It is time to call this madness out. Do you know that DC is #1 for HIV? Do you know we consistently stay in the top for drug overdosing? Do you know that drug abuse and the use of heroin, and opioids, that's a disease of isolation. So what does that tell you? We're in a pandemic and folks are shut in. If we keep self-medicating and keep turning a deaf ear and acting like we don't see that we're a city under siege, this murder rate will be right back where it was. We are the nation's capital and we should be the standard. We have almost 50% representation on the DC Council from a black perspective, and yet our community members are under siege. Ask yourself why. Why do we need representation in the ward when we have so many people that still are going without? Start speaking up. Start showing up. Let's not wait for the police to keep shooting and killing our kids. Let's make every day a protest. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, guys, for having this conversation. This is not just a gimmick. Mental health matters, and I'm going to keep saying it until it registers for you, because many of our families already understand what that means. Step outside of the shame and get some help. 1-844-36-HELP2. That's a number you can call. Myself or any one of my advocates will show up. You don't have to do this alone. You heard Pastor mention that the Department of Health has resources. Department of Behavioral Health has resources. There are all kinds of resources across this city. But I need you to understand something. You are the best advocate for yourself and for your family. If you know you're not functioning at a satisfactory level, say something. If you are hungry, say something. If your light's getting ready to go out, say something. Step outside of the shame. And if you're running for office in this great land right now, our folks need jobs, our folks need mental health resources, our folks need compassion. It has gotten to the point where it's a them against us, and that is ridiculous. Black lives matter. Stop acting like only specific instances need to be addressed when it needs to be across the board every day. Vote them out of office. Stop this nonsense about you're not going to vote or you don't care. We have to take our power back. Too many people are dying, and we've got to stop it. We are living under a state of trauma. Trauma is real, You cannot go on like this every day and expect it not to show up. To my babies out there, to my dear family and my dear community members that are dealing with depression, that may not know it. If you're talking about leaving here, if it's gotten so rough for you that you just can't hold on, please know you're not by yourself. There are folks out here that care. And it is time to start using this social media for good and cut this nonsense out. If the guns are being housed in your household, if there's anger going on, if there are community members that are up to no good, give them a hug, talk to them, and find out what we can do to cut this out. We are killing each other, and that is a deprivation of our mood, our thinking, and our physiological wellness, our psychological wellness. Mental health matters, and you can't know in any one instance what it looks like. So I wanted to break it down and let you know that anyone that is not functioning at a level of satisfactory understanding is prone to be at risk for their mental health. If the behaviors that you're demonstrating are not normal, it is time to talk to someone. And yes, we need to hear the word accountability in our communities. I am a Ward 8 baby for life. I do not come in judgment. I lost my dear father to his opioid, or we called it heroin, addiction. And I wish we had more community partners, more churches, more legislators, more neighbors that were willing to step up and say something and give him a hug and let him know that his life mattered. I am no longer the little girl. I am a grown woman, and I've seen enough in my community that it's time for us to do something different. Our babies deserve something better. I want everybody registered to vote. I don't care if you're 18 years old, it's time to vote. If you don't have a job, it's time to get a job. If there's a beef, it's time to be a hero. And to our dear police department, we are not done. You must involve the community organizations in your work. We must be there with the first responders to understand our members in the community that need mental health assistance. And to my so-called legislators, and to my high folks in high positions that go to work every day knowing that your work is in vain. Because as long as our folks stay on the street homeless, as long as our families are hungry, shame on you. I read a report that said the Department of Behavioral Health spent $1.8 million all of last year over 8 wards for trauma assistance. Go back to the table. Go back and find out why we have so many people sleeping in the street. $1.8 million is a drop in the bucket for all of the issues that we have going on in our community. Black Lives Matter is not just a popular phrase. It's a reality. Get involved. Stop with this popularity on social media and why so many families are hurting. Let's manage to do for our children what we have failed to do for ourselves. If you don't know, ask somebody. I'm Rhonda Hamilton, and my Mother's Keeper is out here every day advocating. We're doing the work from the inside and the outside. We got family members threatening to be evicted. And when I say family members, I talk about our mental health community. We're all a family. Because love doesn't cost anything. If you care, get involved. People are being evicted, threatened with eviction during a pandemic. And although the mayor has an emergency order out there, everybody is not protected. And when we have our vulnerable citizens at risk, then it's time to start raising your voice and asking questions before it becomes your family. No one is safe. Hold them accountable. Hold yourselves accountable. Hug my babies and stop these guns. Mental health matters. Come from behind the pulpit and get involved on a higher level. Stop hiding behind these glorious titles, because the pandemic has reset. It has reset everything. Who cares what you did yesterday when so many people are still hurting today? Cut it out. Advocacy is the act of providing voice to those who do not have one, or those who feel less empowered. Let's get back to loving each other, caring about each other, and stop being afraid of our young men in the community. They need us too. We are all in this together. Black Lives Matter. Live it, be it, become it every day. Mental health is at jeopardy, and we are not functioning at a satisfactory level. Block by block, building by building, community by community, we need to take our power back. They're moving money around this city, and it's not affecting the people that really need it. I see social media posts where people have mushrooms growing in their household. Are you kidding me? We are the nation's capital. People cannot continue to live in this level of despair and not expect that their mental health will not deteriorate. This is not a joke, and if you don't know what you're talking about, step aside. Stop judging our people, stop looking down on our people, and find a way to help quell the violence in our communities. Be a part of the solution. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. 240-274-9436 is my direct number. I'm on duty every day because mental health does not sleep. There's somebody out there that needs help every minute of every day. Know that. So there's nobody should be beating their chest when we got so much going on in our community. To continue to hear these guns going off is traumatic. We are born into this drama, we're born into this trauma, and we must do something to take our power back. No one is free as long as our community is hurting. God bless you all, and you're going to be hearing more of these impromptu conversations. We are in a pandemic. No one is safe. Every day we need to be checking our mental health. www.mimotherskeeper.com. Mothers with an S, keeper.com. We are real in these streets. Mental health matters. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's a lot to follow behind. I don't know. But I do want to say mental health is real. I listened to Wanda say her mom's schizophrenia. I'm bioschiz. Y'all might want to go look it up. It took me a lot to get through my mental illness, but I had a good mother that dealt with me. Growing up, I tried to commit suicide twice. I still deal with a lot. Some days I don't come out. I don't come out my room. I don't say too much to people because I get angry real fast, and I'm the type of person, I get angry, I break things, I tear things up. I've learned over the years that everything that I tear up is mine, and I gotta go buy it again, and I got to replace everything. So I've learned not to tear my things up now, so that's an A+ for Yolanda, you know. I know it's real. I know it's a lot of people out there struggling in our community. I also know that there's a lot of people that get to where they are, and they look down like they don't supposed to help. But you gotta remember that community that you came from. You might be living in that big old house out in Clinton, Maryland. You might be living in that big old house out in Virginia. But where did you actually come from? Where did you grow up at? What did you go through? What school did you go to? What type of friends did you have? You know, don't forget about the people that got you to where you at, because even the friend that you met in kindergarten got you where you were at because she might have had a conversation with you at that time being a kid, that something stayed in your mind that pushed you to get you to where you were at. Me personally, I had 4 good friends. We became friends in 2nd grade. 3 of us did. And then we had another friend that came along. But one of my friends, her name is Crystal Sams. She really played a big part in my life because I came from being an abused child. I was taken from my mother, which was a heroin addict at the time. My brothers was taken, my sister was taken. We were put into a whole different place from DC to North Carolina. They took all my mama's babies. And they never thought my mother would succeed of getting off heroin. I watched my mother beat that habit I watched my mother beat the habit of being an alcoholic. I watched my mother raise 6 children after losing 6 other children to the best that she could raise them being by herself. I watched my mother not eat. I watched my mother not be able to pay a bill. So me coming from being with an abused aunt and then getting with my mother, because she came back and got her babies. Trust and believe me, she came back and got her babies.
Amen.
She got all of us back. But just the struggle that watching her having to go through, sometimes I couldn't tell her the stuff that I was going through because she already had a full plate. So within my own mind, I chose to medicate myself with some things. First, it started out with being just promiscuous with males. Then after that, it came to the point of, well, now, I'm getting older now, I'll try some weed. It'll calm me down, especially when I get angry. Then it went from weed to cocaine. Those are only 2 drugs that I ever made a choice of using, but I self-medicated for a long, long time until I realized one day when I went to go try to cut my wrist, and for some reason, couldn't do it. And kept talking to God. I kept telling him, this is what I want to do. And he kept telling me, this is what you ain't going to do because I got other plans for you. Now I know what his other plans was. Now that I see him right here. So I know what his other plans was. A lot of people's storms are not like my storm. I could say that he protected me the whole time. His grace, his mercy, he really protected me. But I see some of the girls that are out here, they need help. They are doing drugs. I see 34-year-old women that look older than me, and I'll be 53 tomorrow. You know, it didn't deter my beauty. It didn't take from my hair. It didn't have me out there tricking. I didn't have to do none of that. For some reason, it was always in place for whatever I needed. I guess he was trying to preserve me, which is what he did. But we have people out there that do really need help. One of my young ladies, I talk to her all the time. She's been very distant from me. That's because because of the pandemic that they have going on, the cocaine has been shut down. So cocaine can't get into the city like it was getting in. So now they picked up something else, which is the heroin. She's shooting up now. That's something she's never done. You know, I think she's ashamed because she think I would judge her, but I would never judge anybody because I didn't want people judging me. I'm telling you, maybe y'all haven't did drugs. Maybe y'all didn't take drinks. Maybe y'all had something else that y'all hiding that nobody don't know about. Just because a person does make choices that they make don't mean that they don't need help. Maybe it might just take a person to just come up to them, like she said, give them a hug. Ask them what they need. Somebody came and asked me what I needed. Somebody came and made sure I was okay. And even after that, it was people after that, until one day I ran into Ann. And that's when I knew I wanted something different out of life. It didn't mean that because I stopped doing the drugs that I still didn't have a mental illness, because I still have my mental illness. I'm OCD. I have to have things certain way. You can't drop nothing on my floor because I freak out. I try not to be like that because I am a grandmother of 17 grandkids. So you know how kids can get to being messy. So I've tried it. I've tried to let my babies come in, play, but I can't. I gotta get up as soon as they move to something else. I gotta be right behind them. And my kids be telling me, Mama, just relax. I can't relax because my brain don't relax. And when your brain don't relax and your brain is moving and moving and moving, it doesn't matter what your body is doing. It's what your brain is thinking. You know, I might just wake up in a good mood one day, body feeling good, but mentally I'm not feeling good. It'd be days I don't answer my phone. I don't talk to people. I only talk to certain people. I will shut down. So it's hard. And even with my friends I have now, they're starting to learn me. They're starting to understand. Oh, that's Yolanda. It's one of her days. It's one of her bad days. I don't take medication. God is my medication. Thank God for that, because the medication, you have to make sure that the medication that they want to give you is the right medication for your body. You know, because they've had me on Haldol, they've had me on Paxil, they've had me on so many medications to where I didn't even know if I was coming or going. I'm just sitting and I'm just staring out into the world. But I knew The whole time that they had me on that medication, God still was talking to me. He kept saying, don't take another pill. Do not take nothing else that they give you. I got something else for you. And that's what it was. I had to go into prayer. And I struggled over years. I cried myself to sleep last night because I'm used to my mom telling me happy birthday. My mom's been gone. This will be the 3rd year she's been gone. And I still go through that mental illness of lacking something, of having my mother, you know, and it's a struggle for me. I think real hard about things because the thought will come across, but the thought will go away. And as long as the thought come across and go away, I'm good. But some people, the thought will come across and it don't go away. They don't know no other way except to go kill themselves or to harm someone else. A lot of these young men in our community, they're good. They're good men. And they just need a push. Some of them have seen certain things in their household, dealing with their mothers, to make them angry, you know. And when I only had one son. I had 6 girls. I had one son. I had 7 children. But my son knew nothing about my drug habit, and his sisters did. But when he knew, it's because I told him. He looked at me as if I was crazy. But I knew not to go in the area because I knew my son was the type of person, you give my mama something, we fight. It's straight like that. We ain't got no choice. I don't care if you're my friend, whatever. Don't give my mother anything. You know, so I knew him watching us, watching his sisters, that at a certain age, he gets to the point where he's the man of the house. So when the son feels like he's the man of the house, and the mother brings another man in that thinks he's the man of the house, they're going to clashing. There goes the clashing. I don't bring no men around my son. Not right now, I don't. You know, one day I might have one that I can introduce to my son and it'll be fine. But as of right now, it takes a lot for the male that comes from the womb to accept the male that comes from another womb. And you know, when them boys see a lot of things that their mother's doing, the lights getting ready to get cut off, the rent didn't get paid, they know that you had that money. They know that you done did something with that money. And now we're about to be on the streets because you chose to feed your habit instead of paying the rent, mama. Okay, now we can go get you some help. Somebody might help you pay the rent or whatever, but the help that you need is to get the help for the addiction that you have. That's where the first help come at. You gotta go get help for your addiction. You gotta go get help for your mental illness, because the type of mental illness I have, I could hurt somebody, and I could hurt them without having no conscience of it. It doesn't take much for me to flare. It just might take a word. Somebody might even say a word. It might even be the tone that they use at me when that word come out their mouth that'll make me flip everything over. You know, so I'm real careful about the situations that I put myself in because I know me. I'm aware of my mental illness that some people aren't aware of, and that's where a lot of this gunplay is coming in, because a lot of these boys get a hold of these guns and they arguing with the guy right here, and instead of saying, okay, well, you know what, this ain't even work, let me walk on off. It's bang, 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 and then we're burying one and one going to jail. So yeah, like they said, they're taking us out, and we're allowing them to take us out because our young men can't get the help that some of them need. Even inside the jails, even inside the prisons, they're releasing these young men without making sure mentally that they are stable to come back out here and deal with society. Right. Because y'all done boxed them in, y'all got them sitting in a cell, but you're not getting them no help. You want to put them away, but you don't want to get our men no help. Get them the help that they need. Make sure that when they come out here, they got a job to go. They can go put applications in. A lot of them are felons. They coming out, they don't have no jobs. So we have a lot of felons out here on the street. That's why we have a lot of robberies. A lot of people getting robbed. A lot of things getting done, because how else are they supposed to survive? The women, it's easier for us. It's a little bit easier for us. But when it comes to men, men like to have money in their pockets. And by any means necessary, they're going to find a way of putting money in their pockets. if they have to go walk up in the store and put somebody else's life at risk. Because you don't know what type of pressure that young man got. He might have a baby at home that don't have no milk, no Pampers, no nothing. A woman that's pushing him like, look, get up, go get us some money, do something. Not knowing what is it that he might have to actually go do. If he don't have a job and you pushing him to go do something, it's only one or two things he want to go do. He's either going to go rob, steal, or kill. Now, which one is he going to do for you? Because women, we have an impact on men. And we can make men do some of the craziest things because the impact that we have on them. And it first starts with them when we carry our men in our wombs. You know, you attach yourself to your babies while they're in your belly. A lot of people don't believe that. So trust and believe. The trauma that you go through, being pregnant, what you're doing, it affects your baby. The happiness, what you eat, everything. I have a child that, one of my children I carried, and I was under trauma carrying her, and she is trauma right now. I acted out, and she acts out now. But I know how to deal with her because the same thing that I have, you have as well because you came off my branch, you know? I know that it dwelled down through your DNA. I'm just telling y'all mothers, if y'all sons got them guns in the house, go throw them away. What are you gonna do? Get mad? Come in here, fight you? Well, let me tell you what. If my son got a gun in my house, and I throw it away and he come and try to fight me, I guess we'll be fighting. Somebody gonna call the police because you can go find you somewhere else to go. But as far as my household, it has to be clean because I don't want somebody running in behind you. My weapon is to protect me. That's what it's for. Not to go out here and hurt somebody else's child. And a lot of kids are getting hurt. Younger children are getting hurt because the older ones are not recognizing that they're standing right there playing and y'all just shooting. Y'all don't even know what y'all shooting at. Do y'all even go to target practice? I'm just trying to really figure it out because if you know what you're shooting at, how are you hitting our babies? That's the only thing I'm trying to tell y'all is that we got to come together as a community. Go out here every day. Go talk to the hustlers. You just scared of them. Y'all ain't scared to take their money.
Come on now.
Y'all ain't scared to go take their money when y'all walking by and they giving you money. Y'all ain't scared to go do this. So what's the problem with getting up, walking outside your door and talk to them? I walk outside my door every morning and I talk to them. I walk outside every day and I come down the street and I talk to people that are on drugs. I talk to them because they're no different than me. Just because you look different than me don't mean you're different from me because I done been in them shoes. I don't think it's nothing that I haven't done. Pretty much. I've never killed nobody though, but I've brought harm to people because of my mental illness, and I react before they do. I was the one that put my hands on you before you get a chance to even put your hands on me. So I'll tell you quick before I even do it. Go ahead and call the police because this is how this is going to end. You're going to the hospital and I'm going to jail. And pretty much of my life, that's what it's been. Males, females, it didn't matter to me. This is my space. It's always been my space. I don't let people in my space. You know, when I feel like people cross the boundaries of being in my space, it turns real ugly with Yolanda. But I've learned how to control Yolanda a whole lot more now. No, don't think that I won't get angry, because I will. Don't get it confused, because I will. I just know now how to control my anger instead of letting my anger land me sitting in a cell or hurting somebody. I just want y'all to come together in this community, especially over here where we at. What is it, 7th district? We're 6th district. They're building all around us. Building, I mean, nice, beautiful townhouses going up. Everything is getting built. Because what they're doing is they're building up and pushing people out. They're selling their buildings. They're not telling anybody. The only thing they come, your landlord come in and tell you, oh, I just sold the building. You got to find somewhere else to go. Do you know how long I've been living in this place? Some of these elderly people have been living in these places for 10, 15, 20 years. Now all of a sudden you want to sell your building and I got to get up and find somewhere to go. Some of them can't even get up and move. So how are they supposed to get up and find somewhere to go unless people like us, hey, you contact us, you got the help that you need to get for you to get food, shelter, if you need to get in a drug program, if you need help filling out an application, if you call, somebody will be here to help you. I can't promise you that you're going to get a job that day or the next day, but I promise you if you put in so many applications, somebody's going to hire you. But you got to put the effort in getting out there to do it. And for those that have the mental illness that can't get up to go get it done, there's somebody in your household that know that you're struggling with something. Get that person some help, because what I tell you is this, dealing with a bio-schiz person, when we get angry, you're lucky if you're alive. Because we don't have a conscience with that. We go through certain things. I still struggle with things. Sometimes I see something that's not even there, and I have to tell myself, Yolanda, there is nothing right there. So I have to keep it moving. Because if I stay there in that moment of thinking something there, I'm really going to be crazy. So I know now that some things I see aren't really there. I'm telling y'all that get the people the help that they need. If you know your son is spazzing in the house, he tearing your stuff down, get him some help. Call somebody, get him some help. Oh, he gonna be mad. I was mad at my mama too. They put me in that facility. I was mad. But I knew that she felt like I gotta get her some help, because if I don't get her no help, she's gonna hurt herself and she's gonna hurt somebody. And that's why she did what she did for me. And Mom, I thank you for all that you did for me. I no longer have her or my father. So I'm telling y'all, if anybody on the live feed and y'all listening, y'all still have your parents. Love your parents. Love your parents. Love that woman that carried you for them 9 months, because it put a toll on her body, physically and mentally, to have to go and carry a child and bring a child in the world. It's hard on us women out here. That's why they got us, we really are the backbone. I don't want to say it like that, Kelly, but you know, the women are really the backbone. So it takes a lot of women to push. It takes 3 women to push 1 man, pretty much, to make them get up and get something done. And you know, that's probably the mother, well, let me first start, the grandmother, the mother, and the sister. That's the 3 women, because it took all of us to push my son. You know, sometimes you don't realize what you really have until it's gone. And mental health, one day we can be good and we're fine. We're just as happy as we want to be. And then some days it's just, I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to be here no more. Or I just don't want to do this today. Or I go into depression mode, you know. And I have a lot. My mental illness plays a lot on me, but I also, when she was saying about the HIV, I buried a daughter from AIDS. My daughter passed, she passed away from pneumonia, you know. Okay, she passed away from pneumonia. Let's keep the facts real though. She first got HIV, which caused her immune system not to be able to fight against the infections that's out here, even down to a tiny little cold. We have a lot of young people out there with HIV, a lot. And the reason why I want to tell y'all is this: if can't stop y'all from having sex. Nope, I sure can't. But all I'm asking you as a mother that had to go through what I had to go through, strap up. Because if you don't care about your life and you know that you got it and you're sleeping with somebody else and they don't have it, at least care about their life. You know, because honestly, if you get caught sleeping with someone and you have HIV and you did not tell them, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. It's a charge. Honestly, me, if I know that you have HIV and I know that you're sleeping with somebody and they don't know, you're going to jail. They might not say nothing. Me personally, if I know and I know you're sleeping with somebody they don't know, you're going to jail. Because if the young man that gave it to my daughter would not have died, he was going to jail because my mental illness wanted to do something else. And he was already at death's door. But I wanted to do something else because that was my child that you infected with that disease. And not only did you infect her, you infected a couple of more young ladies. And these was young girls. My baby was 14 years old when she contracted HIV. That's how old she was. My daughter died at 19. So 14 to 19, I had 5 years. 5 years with her. At 14 also, after the incident with her, she met another young man. and that she got pregnant. That's how we found out about it. So by the time my daughter was 9 months pregnant, she had full blown. So the young man that laid with her, he had full blown. He knew exactly what he was doing. He meant to do it to her and the 3 other girls. He meant to do it. But the young man she met afterwards, after that, she ended up getting pregnant. And I have a healthy 17-year-old grandson. He has a 15-year-old brother that is just as healthy as he is. But the trauma that they have to go through is not fair. He had to lose his mother. On top of that, he has to hear about his mother having a disease that wasn't her fault. So that's a mental thing with him, you know? He stays in his room, he doesn't come out, he's a good kid, he goes to school, but I still know that if somebody asks him, how did your mother die? He clams up. So he's ashamed. And I tell him, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, that was your mother. God put you there and she pushed you in this world, gave you life. Don't be ashamed of your mother. Your mother will make a difference to some other young lady, and I'm hoping that somebody's on here, young man, young woman, that if you are doing it, please stop. Please stop. And the reason why I tell you is because you might leave this earth, but if you have children, you're leaving them with someone else. And those children are going to ask questions. People's families are going to ask questions when something happened to you, and they know that you've been with one of their loved ones. That causes a friction between families. Your daughter slept with my son, and she knew she had what she had, or your son slept with my daughter, and y'all knew it, and nobody said nothing. There goes a fight. There's another reason why them guns come getting pulled out. When it can all be prevented from you just either telling them or just strapping up. Use a condom. If you don't want to tell nobody about it, you ain't got to tell nobody about it. But you do owe it to them to protect yourself and to protect them as well. Because if you out here sleeping with people with HIV, you don't even love yourself. You're just trying to kill the rest of us all. And we're doing a pretty good job of that ourselves. My name is Yolanda. I'm telling y'all once again, if you need any help, please call the number. Somebody will reach back out to you. You will get the help that you need. If there's guns in your household, you need to either put them guns on the lock and key. If you know those guns are being used for a crime, you need to call the police. I know nobody is not trusting the police. Some of them are good. They have jobs. That's all I want to tell you. They got jobs too. That is their job. A lot of them bring a lot of stress to work with them because they have families just as well as we have families. But once they walk in that door as an officer, they're supposed to leave all that out the door. And a lot of them don't leave that out the door. And 9 times out of 10, when you got an officer that is acting the way that he is acting, it's got something to do with one of us that he probably got at home, you know, because we uproar our men. I'm telling you that it is the stress that they take from us. There's a lot of stress that we give them. So women, you know, we back up off them a little bit. We just back up off them, especially if they got jobs like police, firemen, things that is for the community. We got to back up off our men a little bit because they're taking that to work with them. And people at work people out here don't even understand that some of the things that they have to go through. I was going to get out, but I'm just trying to tell y'all, we can make our communities better. We just got to pull together. We don't need to be, our children are locked in the house now. Can you imagine about the children that are locked in the house that don't have a laptop? Or the children that are locked in the house with the parents or parents that are drug addicted. Can you imagine? Oh, you think because you're in the household and you're smoking and your door is shut that kid ain't getting it in their system? They're getting it in their system. It's coming through the vents. It's coming through the vents. They're getting it in their system. So if anybody in your household and y'all smoking crack, it's getting in your baby's system. Anybody in your household and you're smoking PCP, it's getting in their system. That's what it is. And it disturbs our children. Our children are our future. They got them locked in. What else are they gonna do? My son, he don't even know what to do. He don't go outside, he don't do anything. He gets up to do his work and it's done. They don't listen. He keeps his friends on the phone with him while they're in school, as if they're in class together. So they're mentally breaking our children down because they're used to recess, lunch, hanging out with their friends. After school, we're gonna hang together, being associated with different things, activities, going to the mall. Okay, you know, it's done stopped a lot of stuff for our kids. They don't deserve this. They really don't deserve this. And now it's going to give them a reason just to pass our kids and push our kids on out the door, because that's what they're going to do. Oh, you're fine. I see you on the visual. You're good. Give Billy an A. He's fine. And Billy might not even can't even read. So we need all the parents, check your kids' stuff on the video, on their laptops, on the computers. My son didn't get one from the school. He's using mine, so I can go right on in there and look at what he's doing. No, you will not lie to me and say you did your work. I'm gonna make sure you did your work. A lot of these kids aren't gonna be able to do their work. A lot of these kids that are at home and getting these laptops probably won't have half their laptops by the end of the year because they have been took and pawned off. So we can come together. I don't care if you got a mental illness. I don't care if you have an addiction. I don't care what you need.
That's right. Yeah.
If I have a piece of bread, you can have a piece of it.
That's right.
So I'm going to do the same thing Rhonda did. My number, personal number, is 202-680-0458. A lot of y'all young ladies can't get out here and do stuff because y'all have babies. Your baby's not in daycare. I told y'all I had 17 grandchildren. I love the kids. So I am a person that you can call. You want to check my background? You can check all of that. If you need some help with food, call us. If you need help with anything, if you open your mouth and you ask,
That's right.
it shall be given.
That's right.
Because nobody don't know what you want if you don't open your mouth.
That's right.
Closed mouths don't get fed. That's what my mom always told me. So, hey, open up your mouth, say what you need to. But having a mental illness does not exclude you from being different from anybody else.
That's right.
We just have a few issues that go along with us, and the people that surround us have to understand some days are good days, some days are bad days. You know, it just takes the people around us that love us to continue to love us when we have those bad days. You know, sometimes I just need a hug, right?
That's right. That's
Sometimes she just give me a hug, and it makes my day all right. You know, I wake up not knowing I wake up crying sometimes. I might lay in my bed knowing I woke up, telling my father thank you, and I just start crying. For no reason. Yeah, I know y'all like, yeah, she's real. No, I cry for no reason sometimes. You know, just sitting there like, and I cry for the world. I cry for seeing the children in my neighborhood. I wish I had a big mansion because I'd take all of them. I would take all the kids. Their parents can go do whatever they want to go do, and I would take all the kids. I would raise them right too, but I can't save all of them. I can't save all of them unless someone calling me and asking me for help. So if you need the help, just call and ask me. If you need to clear your mind for an hour or whatever, call me. Hey, I'll sit right here. I'll come to the park. I'll meet you anywhere. If you need to get a break, I'll come and talk to you. I don't have no problem about moving because I'll get up and move. I just want to know when I get up and move, I'm going to be safe. That's all. And I'm trying to tell y'all fellas, please put them guns down. Y'all doing exactly what they want y'all to do. Hey, prime example, and then I'm gonna get off. Y'all got the guns, right? Y'all killing each other, right? They're locking y'all up, right? The ones that are not locked up, they're dead, right? So what do y'all think y'all women and babies are gonna do then? When y'all are gone? What's gonna happen to us? Do y'all not care about what happened to y'all black queens? Do y'all not care what happened to y'all princes and y'all princesses? Do y'all not care? Because when it's all said and done, it's going to be easier for them to move in. It's going right back to what it is and give them a reason to tear us down, the women, tear us down mentally. Half of us going to end up probably getting raped. Our children going to probably end up getting raped. What are we going to do if y'all not here to protect us?
Come on now, soldiers.
How are we going to be protected?
That's right.
Y'all are supposed to protect us. Our black kings are supposed to protect us. And that's what we need y'all to do. We don't need y'all to be taking each other out. We don't need y'all taking out the wrong ones. Y'all doing the wrong thing. Y'all doing the wrong thing. Y'all taking out each other. What are y'all gonna do when the Klansmen come? Who gonna fight for us? Because they real. They are really real. Where I come from is straight prejudice. Straight prejudice. They still hanging people from trees. They still hanging them from the trees. So, being in the city, maybe that's probably why everybody think like that, because you don't really run into it in the city because you got blacks, you got whites, you got Latinas, you got different races that's up here in D.C. So it really hasn't been put in your face what it means for your life that matters. It really hasn't been thrown. The Black Lives Matter, yes, because our police are doing some things wrong, but what are y'all doing? Y'all are doing it. But y'all mad because something happened to this young man. Oh, because it was a police officer. Yeah, that's why you're mad, right? Well, what about what Johnny did? He a black boy, he lived right next door. He just shot Billy down the street. Why y'all not mad at him? Why y'all not saying nothing about him? My son's life matters.
That's right.
My son, I only got one son, and my son's life matters. It matters. My daughter's lives matter too. They do. I do not exclude them. But our men are very few.
That's right.
Very, very few.
That's right.
It's 10 of us to every one of them. It might be 20 of us to them now because so many are being taken out and so many are behind the bars. That's why they don't want to let them out. Do you know how many? They're talented. They're smart. It's so much talent behind them prison bars that they don't even know. How do you think they're able to send all that stuff home? That work, them artwork, all them poems, all that stuff. That is a young black man that's in there writing that. That is a young black man that made them cards. They ain't got no store that they go and they make that stuff and they send that stuff home to their families. They matter. Trust and believe they matter. If you don't know what I'm saying, just go look up anybody on the prison, in the prison system. Just pick one person and write them a letter. That's all you gotta do. A letter means a lot to some of them guys. A lot of them guys don't have families. A lot of those guys don't have nobody because they get 20, 25 years. See, life still goes on out here. But when they're inside in there, things don't stop out here. They go in behind them bars and people forget about them. So when people forget about them in there, say, we got 10 years, you going in there for 10 years. Let's not forget how much money you gave your mama. All them weeds you bought your sister. All them Jordans you bought your brother. Oh, they forgot all about that. See, now you're sitting in there for 10 years and things still go on. So the 10 years that he done sat in there, his family ain't been there with him. When he get out, what do y'all think is going to happen? And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with right there. If you leave your loved one in them prisons and you don't talk to them, you don't send, I ain't saying money. I'm not saying money. I'm saying a letter, a card. A card don't cost nothing but $1. You can go get 2 cards for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Send a card just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Keep your spirits up. Just know this, that the family members that's in there behind them bars, if y'all not there for them, not sending a letter, when they come out, it's chaos. Just know that it's chaos. They're gonna come out, first thing they're gonna look for is money. I told y'all the first thing I said is our men like money. So the first thing they're gonna look for is money. If he don't have a job, if he's coming out as a felon, and he don't have no type of education, he goes back to what he's familiar with. And going back to familiar places sometimes get you messed up and land you right back where you was at. And I'm just saying, I know a lot of y'all got sons, please. Y'all love y'all sons? Set them down, tell them. You know, they try to be the big boys. Oh, mama, no, you don't understand. No, I do understand. I understand this. I'd rather have you here with me than the bird you 6 feet under.
That's right.
That's what I understand,
That's right.
and that's what I tell my son. I do. I tell my son that. I really would wish I could tell you about my son a little bit more and tell you how good my God is. But you know, I'm hoping one day y'all get to meet him because he's a bright, intelligent young man. He's doing time right now. Second go around of doing time. But God spared him this second time. He had to go do 7 years the first time. God spared him this second time. And this second time, God spared him so much, he was looking at 20 years. He got a year. And that's because his mama fell on her knees and I begged God for his life. That's what I did, because that's the type of mother I am, and that's the type of mother I had, and that's the type of mother she had. Because we got to pray for our children, we got to pray for our grandchildren. Trust and believe me, the mistakes that we made, it falls down on our kids. Don't think that you got away with it. You don't get away with nothing. You don't get away with it. Even if I die right now, some of the things that I've done is still gonna fall. That's why I keep praying so much, because I get so much wrong. So I keep praying that it don't touch my children and my grandbabies. And I keep praying for everybody else in this world, because we need some peace and we need to come together, because the world is falling apart, but our communities is falling apart just as well. And I do believe if we put our communities together, that everything will be an uprising. The only thing is, the difference between us and them is that we're not scared. We're not a scared race. The only thing that there's with them, they're scared of us, because they know if we stop, and we start thinking and putting stuff together, they know we are the powerful race. That's why they try to find things to shut us down. Get it together, black queens, black kings, princesses, prince, y'all get it together, because we are the dominant ones. We are the ones that they are scared of. They have a reason to be scared of us, because we are good people, but we also are aggressive people, and that's what makes them scared of us. I want to see my grandbabies judges, lawyers, doctors. I do. I want to see them live. I want to see them grow up to be something successful in life. I don't want them to have to worry about welfare, this and that. They feel like if they can just keep us with being on welfare, they're good. They're good. They're good with that. We're starting to bother them now, because we're starting to take places that we're supposed to have been had. So it's starting to bother them now, because they're saying to this, oh, they done got smart. They getting real smart. And now we're going to get even smarter, because we got Kenneth, we got Rhonda, we got Annie, we got Yolanda. I'm going to push them. Every child I see, I'm going to push them to stay in school. I'm going to push them not to touch them drugs. I'm going to push them to find out what it is that they need to make them succeed in life. That's what I'm going to do. Whether it's my child, my grandchild, or your child, your grandchild. So yeah, if you see me in the community, they call me Bumblebee. It is me. I am talking to your child. I am asking them what do they want to be out of life. I don't want to walk up to none of our black children and I say, what is it that you want to be? And they say, nothing. How do you say nothing? How do you be a 13-year-old, because this didn't happen to me, a 13-year-old, and I ask you, what do you want to be? And you tell me nothing. That's because the mentalness that they done had to deal with in their household, in dealing with people, brothers, cousins, drug addiction, a lot of stuff that these kids deal with. And now that they're locked in, we can't even see some of the children. I don't see none of the children. In the neighborhood, you see adults, but you see no children. There are no children out. The children that are out, the ones that are out, are the ones out here doing something. They're doing something. Because 9 times out of 10, the majority of them are still locked in the house. They're still, mine are locked in the house. I don't know about anybody else. Mine's still in the house. They don't come out. I do all the going out, coming in. Mine stay in the house, unless it's a doctor's appointment. And that's what I tell you. Please be careful about this virus. It's not a joke. Make sure people are washing their hands. Make sure the people you're coming in contact with, you wearing your mask. You know, I'll come around some of my friends without my mask and without washing my hands and use my hand sanitizer. And that's only because I had a good friend that sent me something that's for the immune system. And COVID-19 ain't had nothing on it. Trust me, COVID-19 has nothing on it. And if you drink it, you take it, it boosts your immune system so good you don't even get a sneeze. I'm going to close out on y'all. But once again, remember, 202-680-0458. My name is Yolanda. If y'all need help with anything, I do mean anything, just give me a call, and I'm more than willing to help you. And if I can't help you, I'm going to put you in place with somebody that can help you. But trust and believe me, I'm not going to leave you out there empty-handed. That's something I cannot do. I'll find you to help. If I got to get up and go look for it myself, I'll find you to help. But y'all have a blessed day, and may God keep you.
Amen.
And as we get ready to close, again, this is Overseer Dr. Ann Collins, a Kingdom Life Outreach Center. And today I'm challenging all faith leaders. It's time to get out of the walls. We no longer in the pulpit. Let's get real. Although, they're allowing us to open up. The real work is outside of those walls. The real work is outside of those walls. And I'm not just talking about you call yourself doing, I gotta take this off. I'm not talking about you just helping your parishioners.
That's right. That's right.
See, that's selfish.
That's right. That's right.
It's not about just helping your parishioners. It's about helping the community that some of y'all have put multi-million-dollar buildings in. I think it's just been a sad thing over the past 5-6 months. We have all these beautiful churches here in the DMV area, and they're shut down. And on a daily basis, I see homelessness. On a daily basis, I see mothers with their children, and they're so frustrated, and they don't know how to handle it. And yet you want to say, let me pray for you. God gonna make a way for you. It's about relationship building. And I realize this type of work, if we want to be honest, it's not for everybody. And it goes deeper than hurt people. So it goes back to what I said. Know what your lane is, what part of the body you are good at, and work at that. But God is telling us, the church, he ain't happy. Because a lot of us have gone out doing man stuff. See, man don't put stipulations that you got to go to seminary, you got to do this, you got to do that, which really is a setup to put you in debt. But when God calls you, it ain't even materialistic. And God does speak and will give you guidance. And I need you to understand that when you pray, it ain't always the physical prayer that you say out your mouth that God is listening to. It's that prayer that's coming from the heart that he's really listening to. And we got to be honest, leaders. Sometimes we really don't know what to pray for because we're dealing with trauma ourselves.
Come on now.
That's right.
You sitting here and say, I'm very transparent. The only way you can help somebody, if you really want them to understand that God is real, then you got to be vulnerable and allow your physical vulnerability to be out. You're sitting here looking at a woman. I got about 26 years of clean time from cocaine. And I'm like Whitney. I ain't do crack. I did cocaine. And I didn't like to sniff it. I would cook it and I smoked it. And I'll tell you to this day, I didn't regret it. I enjoyed what I did. That's why I did it. But what made me dangerous is I've always kept a very good job. I was a functional addict. And my counselor said, Ann, that skill you used to go out there to go get your stuff, because see, I was the one, I had the money. Okay, if you want to party with me, then you're going to take the risk. See, come on, we're going to be real. See, a lot of our drug dealers and our girls that walk the street and all that, they entrepreneurs. Because boo, it takes a skill not to get hemmed up in the judiciary system. See, we're going to talk about some real stuff. So see, it's our job to be able to pull that, to show them from a realistic point of view how you can turn it into a business for you. You know, we don't have a whole lot of time. We're going to be coming back.
That's right.
Me, it ain't about membership building. You know, pastors ask you, Well, pastors, how many members you got? I got hundreds of members. But guess what? They outside in the street. Because see, every day I approach somebody, they become a member. They become a family member. And as I'm speaking to them, I'm planting that seed because I'm like, God, I need you to tell me what to say that's not offensive to them. And as they say, those of us that's been in the program, 12 steps, what they tell us, you keep coming back if you work it. So today, I'm asking, are you really ready to work it? Are you really ready to have a real effect, a realistic effect on our community? Not our members, but our community. I'm here to tell you, we're here for you. I come from a realistic point of view. As I said, Rhonda Hamilton is one of my community partners, and I have a whole lot of community partners. And they'll tell you when I come to the table, I tell them real quick, I'm tired of round tables and everybody saying, well, what can I do? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Get your butt in the street, that's what you can do, and let's do something.
That's right.
I'm going to give you my number. I promise you, if it's applications that you don't know how to fill out when it comes to, it ain't COVID, y'all. I have asthma. I have asthma and COPD. My staff have seen me come out here. I come out here every day. And a couple of times I've literally passed out. But God protects me. Because our people are hurting. But you can get in contact with me and I will come and help you fill out all your applications. They help empower you. My number is 202-904-5273. That's 202-904-5273. Give me a call. If I don't answer, leave a message. Those around you will tell you I will return the call. Y'all, this man's killed me. I feel like I be suffocated and getting headaches because I can't get the oxygen that I need. But it's time out, y'all. We got to stop hurting each other. And understand, love is an action, not an emotion. And let me let y'all in on a little secret. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to mental health. Those of us that believe in the Trinity, we got mental health, which is a broad thing. We got emotional health, and we got behavior health. So those of y'all that's on here, please don't try to come for me, because I'm ready. And if I don't know it, I got a team. So we going to give you the real deal, y'all. We want to change our communities. We got to change our mindset.
Come on, man.
I'm going to say that again.
Come on.
If we want to change our communities.
I said for you.
Our communities. We got to change our mindset. And I'm sitting here to tell y'all, I got trauma myself. I deal with trauma on a daily basis. Not so much what I do. Because when I deal with others, I'm sitting here now. Friday I went out to take care of some business, with our children being in school and stuff. I have to go out like early in the morning. I'm like, let me just go out. I need some me time. Go get me a cup of coffee and just chill. And I'm in the parking lot. And I see I see the police, and I see this car, and the first thing I'm like, God, please, not at 6 o'clock in the morning. Please not let it be violence, somebody that did something and the police out attack. Because that's the first thing we think now. And then later on, I'm sitting there waiting for my coffee. And I'm sitting there and I see the police and they running. And I looked at, there was a young man, looked like he had been walking, trying to go to the grocery store. Passed by. And I immediately started praying, God, let your will be done for this young man. And when I went back yesterday to that very store, there was a memorial, which means that young man lost his life. And his name is Andre, because they got his little name. See, you walk out your door, you never know. And like Yolanda said, all cops ain't bad. Those officers, I commend you. Because some of them, they forgot to put their mask on. They were there just trying to work on that young man. That's what it's about, y'all.
That's right. That's what it's about.
Sometimes we just got to step out. If you say God called you, and you say you serve a God of love, then it's time to show it.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
That's right.
It's time to show it.
That's right.
Or sit back, shut up, and let those that really want to do it. Because it's time out. We, the church, bruise fruit by our language and our actions.
Amen. Amen. Just in closing, I want to remind you in just a second what Pastor Ann said. Open your hearts, open your minds. Our young folk are out here surviving. Our families are surviving. Lose the judgment and learn how to give out more hugs. It's about all of us. We can do this. And my Mother's Keeper does this work daily. We're here. You got some wonderful information, some wonderful references. These are my community partners. These are my sisters in love. Mr. Kenneth Clark, thank you for all your wonderful media. You're going to continue to hear from us. Guys, if you're hurting, we're your family. Reach out. We love you. We're here.
God
No
bless.
judgment. God bless you.
God bless.
This is the last call to action. Church leaders, get out the walls. Get into the community. It's time out for membership. It's about time for soulship.
Come on now.
My political leaders, you're going to be judged morally.
Come on now.
You're not in position out of anything that you've done, but you're only in position because God has allowed you to be in position.
Right.
And if you don't do right by God's people, you will be judged very harshly. Time out for the games. Church, it's time to step up.
That's right.
Step up.
Enough is enough. That's right.
Step up. Stop hiding behind the denomination. Stop hiding behind the church cliques. Stop hiding behind all that religious nonsense. And get out there in the field. Stop sending your prayer team leaders and you get out there and get active.
Call them out.
Oh, you want to send a prayer team. Jesus didn't send a prayer team for the lady at the well. He spoke and breathed life to her. Time out for the games.
That's right.
Get out there, get active. Mental health is spirituality.
Come on now.
Because God desires that you be prosperous in your mind, body, soul, and spirit.
That's right.
Mental health is wealth. Black mental health matters.
That's right. That's right.
If anybody wants my contact number, my number is 202-805-2651. Come as you are. Ain't no judgment. Half of the people that's judging
Need some help.
need help themselves. Half of the people that's judging is mad because you're doing what they want to do. If the truth be told,
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Come on now.
Well, time out with all that. If you talking, get your negative words off our men. Get your negative words off our youth. Stop acting like you did everything right when you was young. Half of the stuff that the youngers are doing, they learn from you.
That's right.
Get active. Get in the fields. Jesus was in the fields.
That's right.
Leaders, it's time for you to be married to the people and not married to the pulpit. Y'all know how I do. It's time to get out and get active. 202-805-2651. Guess what? I may not have all the answers, but I got a mouth. I got a mouth. And my mouth is big enough and loud enough to make noise for change. All right, y'all? Peace.